Hello again, Dan Alasso with History for Today. And this morning I'm going to respond to a thread that I saw on Twitter where one of my Twitter friends asked how my Obsidian vault had worked with my students last semester. And that reminded me to talk about this. I am going to use a public Obsidian vault once again for my Modern World History course content this semester. This will be the second time that I've done this. It worked pretty well the last time around. I was able to add content on a week-by-week basis to an invitation-only Dropbox folder where my students could read and react to my OER chapters, because I had previously written an open educational resource textbook for modern world history. A very few students in this survey course couldn't get access to the vault because they were trying to work exclusively off of Chromebooks, and there wasn't a solution available to them. And for them, I made the ebook version of my text available, which is freely available out there on the Open Textbook Library. They had to send me the answers to the discussion questions in the text rather than answering them in the vault. But that was really the only difference for those users. And that kind of leads me to an interesting observation. I'm not really entirely sure that I loved the idea of having students answer discussion questions inside the content vault. There was a lot of duplication of responses, which isn't really an unusual thing when I'm asking pretty basic questions about readings. But a list of responses where people could see that duplication was probably not the right way to display this. And I've been thinking a lot about retrieval practice this summer. Retrieval practice is a set of techniques to try to shift information from short-term memory to long-term memory in my students' minds by challenging them to recall content after some time has passed. So there's a bit of spaced repetition in there too. And I think I'm going to make that a much bigger portion of the class project this semester, but probably using some other tools in addition to Obsidian. What I think I will add to the way that I was using the vault last time around is a little bit more focus on the students co-creating the knowledge that we're dealing with in the class. Last time around, adding pages to the vault was an extra credit opportunity. I had invited students to write a page on a side topic that interested them as they were reading the chapters. Typically, I include a lot of breakout pages that give a bit more information and give some sources for things that would be tangential to my main point in the chapter, like a detailed description of a person or an event that only gets a brief mention in the main text. This is a survey course, after all. So it's really entirely possible to drill down almost infinitely into any historical detail or moment that we breeze by so quickly in the course. So I often provide more information on a side page and then hyperlink it into the text, kind of Wikipedia style, so that readers can follow the threads that interest them. This semester, the way I'll do that is I will probably model this in the first couple of chapters, giving lots of extra information on the side. I may even incorporate some of this data into my low-stakes retrieval mini-quizzes to encourage students to actually go and look at some of these side pages. Then, as the weeks go by, I will probably get the students used to writing their own. I'll create a rubric that describes the type of information and images and sources that I'm looking for. And then I will introduce this probably as a group project on Friday discussion days. After small groups figure it out and can create pages, I'll probably move on in the next weeks to paired projects and then ultimately to individual pages. This should ease the students into this idea that they can contribute knowledge to the class rather than just being consumers of information. After all, despite the fact that I did write the textbook, I didn't discover any of the information contained in it. However, what I did do was interpret it and decide what I wanted to present to the students and in what order. And I think I want to have a discussion about that with the students, even with students in the first year survey course. So the idea of putting on the author hat briefly might be an opportunity to begin talking about that, might be a way into some of those ideas. A funny thing just happened as I was writing that previous paragraph back at home this morning. The electricity in my house cut off and my computer screen went completely black. The electricity came back on almost immediately, but I was really unsure whether the notes that I had just been writing would be gone, which would force me to start all over. Wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it would have been a bit annoying. Luckily, this vault that I'm writing in lives on iCloud. So when I restarted the computer, Obsidian relaunched automatically, and I found myself on the same page at nearly the same place that I had been. I may have lost a word or two, I'm not even completely sure, but I was pretty close to exactly where I had been, and I had lost no main ideas. So I was very happy about that. Good job, Obsidian. So I will have some more to say as I put this vault together for my Modern World History class again. It should be much easier than it was last time around because I have all of this content available already in the saved Obsidian vault. And I can make some minor changes, add some new things that I want to talk about this semester, and launch it pretty quickly, I think. So I will show that as I begin doing it. But in the meantime, I hope people have found this a little bit interesting. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll see you again next time.